My name is Samuel Ochoche Peter, and I come from Agatu local government in Benue State, Nigeria. I was born into a Christian home, and from the very beginning, my life was deeply shaped by faith, family, and service. My father, Mr. Otache S. Okoma, was a Methodist, while my mother, Mrs. Ajumi Samuel Aboji, was a Roman Catholic. In 2004, my father passed away. That moment changed my life forever. After his death, I followed my mother to the Catholic Church, and it was there that my journey of faith, leadership, and service truly began. At St. John's Catholic Church, Obagaji, I became an altar server, joined the Block Rosary, and also became part of the choir. From a young age, I gave myself fully to the church. I didn't just serve, I led. By 2006, I was Secretary General of the Mass Servers. In 2007, I became Vice President of the Block Rosary. By 2009, I was the sacristan of St. John's Catholic Church, Obagaji. I was still very young, but responsibility had already found me. These experiences taught me about commitment, humility, and service to a community. My education began at LGEA Primary School, Obagaji, where I graduated in 2005 with my first leaving certificate. After that, I attended Methodist High School, Obagaji, and graduated in 2011, obtaining both WAEC and NECO certificates. At the same time, my involvement in church continued to grow. In 2010, I became president of the Block Rosary at St. John's Catholic Church. By 2011, I was president of the Mass Servers there, while also serving as Secretary General of St. Bridget Parish, Aila, Agatu. After secondary school, I moved to Otukpo, the heart of Idoma land, because I wanted to learn computers. At the time, there was no training center in my village. That decision opened my eyes to technology, but back then, my biggest dream was different. I wanted to become a Catholic priest. In 2012, I gained admission into the Servants of Charity congregation in Imo State. I stayed there for almost a year, but along the way, I realized that my calling was not in that congregation. I didn't give up. In 2013, I applied to the Otukpo Diocese. Later, I applied to the Abuja Archdiocese. In 2015 and 2016, I tried again with both Abuja and the Missionary Society of St. Paul Gwagwalada. But each time, something went wrong. Some years, there was no reply. Another time, I was told I could not be admitted because my WAEC didn't have Christian Religious Studies, CRS. Another time, there was a policy change that only minor seminary graduates would be admitted. It was heartbreaking. I wanted to serve God as a priest, but it wasn't working out. For years, I kept trying, but every door seemed closed. By 2016, I was frustrated. I had to tell myself the truth. I could not keep wasting time chasing something that might not be God's plan for me. In 2018, I sat for JAM and applied to study computer engineering at Kaduna Polytechnic. I scored 170, which was the cutoff mark, but I chose not to proceed because I feared they might change my course. In 2019, I sat for JAM again, this time applying to study computer science at Federal University of Kashira, FUK, Gombe State. I scored 204 and was admitted. Before resuming, I got a 1-month scholarship at EL Academy for a boot camp on web development. That was the real beginning of my tech career. At the same time, I was still growing in church leadership. In 2018, I became sacristan of Garki Deanery and acting president of Church of the Assumption, Asokoro, Altar Servers. In 2019, I was elected president of Mass Servers, Church of the Assumption, Asokoro, and also became Abuja Provincial Pro of Mass Servers. On January 15, 2020, I resumed at Federal University of Kashir. Then, suddenly, the world changed. COVID-19 arrived and schools were shut down. For almost a year, from February to November 2020, we were at home. The ASU strike also joined with COVID, so we lost even more time. During that period, I had to survive. I went to Lagos, where I worked as a dispatch rider for 4 months. Later, I returned to Abuja and continued for another month before school resumed. Then, in 2022, another long ASUU strike happened, this time lasting 10 months. I went back to my village, and during that period, I was elected Ceion Pro of St. John Catholic Church, Obagaji. When I returned to school, I took up more responsibilities. I became the sacristan of NFCS, Nigeria Federation of Catholic Students, at the university. I was also president of NFCS Altar Servers at FUK. I became president of Holy Trinity Catholic Church Kashir Altar Servers, and I was appointed liturgical director of St. Augustine Chaplaincy, FUK. I was also elected Public Relation Officer Pro of St. John Catholic Church, Obagaji, during this period. In 2023, during my IT at L Academy, I went fully into programming. I learned Python, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and I even began teaching Python programming. That same year, I was elected Software Director of NACOS, FUK chapter. In that role, I organized the first ever training in web development and data analysis in the Department of Computer Science at FUK. I also organized seminars on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and blockchain technology. In 2024, I graduated with a degree in computer science. Afterward, I won a scholarship in data analysis, sponsored by the Ministry of Education and the World Bank. It was a 3-month program, and at the end, we sat for the CPN exam. In January 2025, I began my National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, at Kaduna State. I was the first Corps member to arrive at camp. During camp, I was made the Platoon 5 leader. I also served in the Court Camp Committee and as part of the analytics team, analyzing camp data to be submitted to the federal government. I also participated in an interplatoon debate on entrepreneurship and technology. After camp, I was posted to the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Abuja. In church, I joined the National Association of Catholic Corps Members, NACC, and also became Public Relation Officer, PRO, of CION, Church of the Assumption, Asokoro. At the same time, I advanced my tech career. I enrolled in data analysis with Ideal Novate Africa. I did web development training with TVE and the Ministry of Budget. I also enrolled for UI UX design training with Ideal Novate. So far, I have built and contributed to many projects. Online pharmacy system, clearance management system, real estate management system, online vehicle management system, secure e-commerce website, smart hospital locator system, machine learning-based restaurant rating predictor. I've also developed analytics dashboards, teaching effectiveness analysis, student performance, workforce performance, regional sales, workshop performance. I also hold more than 20 certificates, including desktop publishing, digital marketing, programming in Python, Meta and Yale Academy, machine learning with Python, Free Code Camp, scientific computing with Python, Free Code Camp, data analysis with Python, Free Code Camp, agile project management, HP, and my B.STI in computer science from FUK. Looking back at my journey, from a small boy in Agatu who once dreamed of being a priest, to becoming a graduate, a software developer, a data analyst, and a mentor, I see one thing clearly. Every setback was a setup for a comeback. I lost my father at an early age. I faced disappointments in the seminary journey. I battled long ASU strikes, financial struggles, and uncertainty. But through it all, I never gave up. Today, I am passionate about using technology to solve real-life problems, mentoring young people in tech, and contributing to the digital transformation of Nigeria and beyond. This is my story, and truly, it is only the beginning.